Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is BMT coming at you again, joined with my one of the greatest co-hosts that a man could ever have, the one, the only, the attorney Nichelle. We're definitely here to do this one. This is actually a really good hot topic. We kicked it off on the primer and already started packing the gunpowder into the loaded gun of truth because we definitely wanted to get off and do this one. I know that you can be anywhere, but definitely I wanted you to be here because this is something that's definitely going to be affecting the climate of the nation, of society, as well as the United States. We can pretend like these things aren't happening. This is going to be an open format panel talk that me and Attorney Nichelle are ready for. That we're going to be having a discussion. We do have some special guests that we have invited to come through, as well as people that if they feel the agreement of, hey, this stuff ain't real. It's not a real thing. Whatever. But however, we definitely have it out there for the conversation to happen. So with the one, the only Attorney Nichelle, go ahead if you're opening. Go ahead there.
Hey everybody, good to be here. First of all, I want to send out my condolences to the people of Buffalo, to the families of those that lost loved ones, and just condolences to the nation at large, because to have another racially motivated mass murder is horrendous. But what is becoming more troubling is the social commentators that are trying to detract from the fact that this young man drove 3 hours to purposefully commit mass murder. Don't compare mass shootings to mass murder. Stop comparing incidents in which there are shootouts like the one in Sacramento. That was gang violence. We're already condemning gang violence. But that particular incident in which rival gangs decided to shoot at each other and innocent civilians got caught in the crosshair, that is not the same thing as premeditated mass murder. Now, Black people do a lot of things, but stop trying to soften the feelings of some people in the United States by saying, well, I just want you to know Black people do it too. Black people do mass shootings too. That's not the issue here. The issue here is this one man decided, because of so much of the political rhetoric, that he had no other choice but to premeditate a mass murder of people simply because of their skin color.
We definitely are here right now. And if you guys are coming on in, you can always come on through. Definitely. Again, this is not going to be an easy conversation. And I definitely put it like that for a reason, for white replacement theory and Roe versus Wade. And it's Tucker Carlson TV's Ted Bundy. We've been hearing these in circles now. And actually people are starting to ask the question, is he the TV's Ted Bundy? Is he inciting these types of things? Or is it just placing the blame on him? What's your thoughts about that, Nichelle?
I mean, honestly, there is a push for ratings, popularity, and there are a lot of extremist views that are pushed out there right now because whether we like it or not, I mean, men from the 70s, 80s, 90s lived a different lifestyle than the men in the 50s and the 60s. And for many men, this is making them question their role in society. Men are saying they don't want to get married if their wives can just file for divorce and take half, and then they'd have to pay child support. They don't like these laws that were designed to protect women, but not protect them. They don't like the fact that women are in the workplace in equal jobs with them. They don't like it. They feel like women and minorities are taking from them, as if, ever since Obama, there's been this whole sense of, well, Harvard, just because he went to Harvard doesn't mean that he's really an intelligent person. I mean, seriously. I mean, Ted Cruz went to Harvard, but Ted's really a smart man because Ted Cruz is like not really like didn't just get in because of his
He got in
ethnicity.
over what's it called? Affirmative action. He didn't get in on smart. He got in there on affirmative action. And I've heard that before. Like the only way how that black person probably would have got there is because due to affirmative action. Not that they deserve to be there, or they worked hard, or they busted their behinds, or they had the grades or the marks. That somehow the government handouts gave
Yeah.
them the what they needed. Is that fair to
And
say, or are we over conflating on that talk point?
you are not there during the 1950s when there was legal segregation. Black people just could not just go to any doctor or any lawyer of their choice. They had to go to Black lawyers or the few white lawyers that would accept their cases. Suddenly, during the 70s and 80s, white lawyers started moving into the Black neighborhoods. I've had one white lawyer say he put his practice in a Black neighborhood because he knows white people will trust him before they trust me. So, yes, we often forget that this sense of entitlement that white people may have is not anything new. It's been around for centuries. They did it in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit up there and you are looking at how white men view things now versus how Black men view things now, I always tell you the difference between Black women and white women is that white women feel entitled to have their men protect them. That's what white men are known to do throughout history. Remember the Helen of Troy? Her
Yes, yes. They
husband,
went the
all his
whole war for this
men,
one woman.
one woman.
One woman.
As Black women, we know good and damn well. We have a conversation with our boyfriends and our husbands all the time. Don't be going in there looking at that white boy funny because that could get a nigga killed. What? So if a white guy disrespects me, that my reaction to his disrespect could get you killed. So you want me to watch myself so you don't get hurt? No, it don't work like that. I literally was at a gas station up in Missouri, and I couldn't find a lighter. My husband was going into the store for something. So got out of the car, walked up to some gentlemen I saw smoking, and I said, "You mind if I bum a light?" My husband comes out of the store. Michelle, you know how dangerous that was? Bumming a light from a white guy? No, you don't understand. What if they had said something? What if they said something? If a Black guy had said something, I would have been ready to roll up on him. But you can't roll up on white guys. Why not? I mean, are Black men actually taught that you have to be subservient to white men? You can't protect your women?
Now the thing about that is this. I feel that there's a hesitation of fear. People could try to ignore it, but Black people are more quicker to shoot at each other than they will a white man. It's like some kind of mental blockage, and I think that even some white people even know that. Like, hey, they will hesitate on shooting me before they ever shoot one of their own. They'll kill their own. I mean, it was just one of those things that is just we see true to even to this day. You know what I'm saying? A white person do bad, they brushing their hair and pulling out the Bible and having a coming to Jesus moment and shit. I'm like, why are we even trying to figure this person out? Like, dude, they're evil as fuck. Shoot them. Like, why are we trying to figure them out? And that's me.
No, you're right. We have a hesitation. We have a hesitation to defending our own. Look at Will Smith. Just bring that in there. One, if that had been a white guy that said that, Will Smith would not have gotten
he wouldn't have gone up there. He wouldn't have gone up there.
But the fact he hesitated, even with Chris Rock, he hesitated. The man insulted his wife, and it's like, What do I do? I if it had been Brad Pitt, Angelina kind of bull crap, up there in a heartbeat, punch, no second thought. But we as a culture, in the Black culture, we are taught to retaliate against each other. So that's why you have these mass shootings, is because people get into arguments and people pull out guns and they start shooting each other. That was the case in Arkansas. That was the case in Sacramento. It was one other case I sent you. Where was that one?
And I'm gonna start pulling them up because it's very interesting. The people that are going hard, and I'm pulling them up from the show. Again, we're not sparing no expense. Shout out to the show. Like the people that are going hard on social media battling Nichelle and I are Black people for white people. This is crazy. I'm like, Nichelle, ain't no way in hell that. And I'm like, well, goddamn, is the white man's goddamn butthole that much cleaner to lick? Because y'all faces all up in his ass to appease your goddamn overlord. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like shit. I don't know what he got on some of y'all, but he damn sure got some of y'all good. Oh, he got some of y'all real good. I don't know what he got over y'all or what dirt, but shit. I think it's scary because some people will defend at all costs this type of talking point. Let me go ahead and grab that. Everybody, thank you for coming through. Like I told y'all, we're gonna have an open panel discussion. Hey, you can come up, speak a piece. Me and the show, we are definitely prepped for this one. We will be pulling up the talk points, information. All this stuff has been brought before. So, the first thing that was brought before me and Nichelle threw this to me, and I was like, "Where did you find this, Nichelle?" And let me go ahead and pull this up. So you ready for the first one? I'm throwing you the curveball. Ready? So this is the first thing to justify what the dude had did. Arrest made a mass shooting at Arkansas car show that killed 1, injured 26. Now they're calling this a mass shooting. That looks CUG blacks talking about never this. Go ahead, Michelle.
You know, it's incidents like this. I mean, we all understand that there are bad people out there, there are unstable people, but this was not premeditated. This is the type of stuff that happens far too often in this country. You have a person with a gun and a temper. Somebody says something and multiple people start shooting. But the thing about it is, this is the way the law works. If you are involved in a shooting, you are the one that starts the shooting. It doesn't matter if the other person returning fire is the one that actually kills somebody. You are part of that murder scene, because but for you doing what you started, then there would not have been all the other injuries. So this is an example of a shootout, not a quote unquote premeditated mass murder. So the comparisons that some of the Black conservatives are trying to make to downplay a premeditated mass murder are ridiculous. Candace Owens, for example, had to point out, well, I didn't hear this kind of outcry when a Black man killed 5 white people. A Black man running from the police in his car turned into a street that happened to have a parade going on. And 5 people were killed because he plowed through the crowd. Show me how that was racially motivated.
Right.
I mean, what else?
Angry Snowman, you are allowed to come up. You are allowed to come up. This is an open format talk for everybody to come up. So, Angry Snowman, you are allowed to come up. This, put it behind. If you want to have the conversation, have the conversation. But we're going to, with Nichelle, that's cool. We want to have the conversation with any and everybody, correct? On this one.
I mean,
or how do you
my
want to
point
play it?
that I was trying to make when I say that white men are taught to protect the white woman at all costs, because the white woman is the she's the bearer of the seed. She is the way that they can reproduce and extend the power of the white man. So when you start having these radicalized people saying that white people are being erased, white people are being erased, this is one of the things that they are from infancy, for generations, for centuries. They have been trying their best to expand the white race. And the only way they can do it is through the white womb. So this man coming in, suddenly deciding, okay, I must kill Black people in order to protect the white race. I must erase some of them because our white women are not having enough babies. It's just the truism of the whole
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah, I don't think that. See, that's what I said. Like that Roe versus Wade conversation about abortion and shit. That shit ain't had a damn thing to do with no Negro. Like honestly, like shit. And all of a sudden, like people, like, oh man, BMT, they're killing black babies, and we got to stop it. Like, dude, poor
Okay,
people, poor people don't
I
be getting
can't
abortion like that.
I can't take this. Okay, all of us know one thing: the one drop rule. When that baby come out of the body, they do not say, "Okay, mom is white, so this is a white baby." They look at the baby and go, "Black DNA, black baby,
That's a black baby. That's a black
black
baby.
baby. That's a black baby." Because there's a thing called alleles in our blood. We all know they sell baby parts, just like they sell plasma.
Oh shit,
And
we're going down that road.
there is a
Let's get it.
demand. There's a demand for black DNA. And I don't give a gum. How many people sit up there and say, oh, they put the abortion clinics in the hood? We can go sit out there day in and day out. We ain't gonna see that many sisters going into the Planned Parenthood facilities. You might see some black babies coming out, but they weren't brought in there by a whole bunch of sisters.
You see, you know the thing about it, and I have to ask this question, but it don't be black people be protesting on all this crazy shit about Roe versus Wade. This is white people. This is their religious crusade battle. Like I'm just being honest. I'm being very fair. Like I don't see black people out there like y'all niggas not too long talking about pump and dump. Now y'all saying y'all give a shit about goddamn we gotta say the baby. Like you can't have it both ways. 1 minute you talking about I'm fucking on these hoes. Now all of a sudden we gotta protect the womb and shit. Like wait a second. Wouldn't the men that don't want babies be for abortion? You know what I'm saying, Michelle? Like, you got to make up your mind on your struggle. Like, you can't just say, we got to stop these women from getting abortion. But then all of a sudden, oh, shit, like, how dare y'all go not have my baby? Like, what do y'all want, single mothers or not? And then the thing about it that kind of creeps at me is that, I mean, I'm honestly looking at it like, hey, like, which one do you want? Like, which one are you honestly pushing at when you're addressing the talking points about the Roe versus Wade? Like again, the Make America Great shit. I'm trying to figure out what time in history was it that great? Was it that great that we were just? And I mean, I get you want to say, well, at one time the black family was together. I'm asking that question. Like, when were you holistically in control of the black household?
No,
When you start
I'm still sitting up here. I'm still sitting up here going, I have gone to black family reunions. And it would be the Robinson, Johnson, Jackson, Miller, Turner. It's like, goddamn. Back in the day, black men knew poke salad. Poke salad. We didn't have divorce. We had poke salad. Woman might be married 5 times, 3 and 4 times, got kids by each and every man. But this whole idea that, oh, yes, we have all these black people that, celebrate their 50th anniversary. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It was a time of struggle for many black women. It was a time of struggle for many white people. white women and men too. Because when you sit up there and look at Margaret Sanger, she came from a dirt poor ass family. She hated the fact that her mother had the audacity to bring her in to the world as a poor white person. She hated that idea. The only thing that gave her any solace in her life was that at least she hadn't been born black. That's the only thing that gave her solace. And she didn't like to see them doing better than her, because the whole idea of eradicating the Negro through abortion, no, she was literally trying to convince black women to sterilize themselves, not to abort babies, but to sterilize themselves. Forced
Now,
sterilization of
now
poor
the thing,
people and black people.
now the thing about it that I always push at, because at no time can I ever think of when the black man was truly in authority. That's why I always ask the question, like, where's this talking point that the black man had true authority um, of the home? Like, I mean, and I'm just being honestly fair, because you didn't really get rules or laws, and this is not no victim shit, but this is honestly just a fair assessment of like some of these talking points. Now, when I ask about, and I'm looking at, because I can't find where I see snowman at. I don't know where the hell you at, dude. Um, but I'll find it sometime. I can't under no circumstance figure out for the life of me. Um, when it comes to Roe versus Wade, that's an economical talking point. We do hear something about, well, the government pays for abortions or some shit about, I guess they make it easier for women to get abortions, but that's not true.
Painful.
That's not true at all. Like, I mean, we would have, we got to go get an OBGYN, which we can go get one. I need to go call her ass right now. I'm gonna call that woman right now. But that's not true that you can just walk straight in and go get an abortion. You really can't. When people say that, oh yeah, you go in and you go take a pill and all that shit, they don't do that. No clinical practice unless you got some money like that where you can just swipe that card or whatever kind of off the books money. No, you can't just do that, man. I'm trying to be very honest with y'all, man. Like, so um
Medicaid and Medicare do not cover the cost of an abortion. If you have an ectopic pregnancy, they will pay for that because it's life changing. It could kill the mother. If it doesn't kill her, it could end her reproductive system's ability to function. So there is a distinction between some of these procedures that people are talking about. But the stupidity of all of this is Brennan's opinion. Brennan's opinion was based on writings from a 1600 a lawyer, a judge back in the 1600s. This judge presided over, he presided over 2 trials in which women were accused of being witches. He sentenced both of those women to death for being witches, unmarried women that refused the advances of a few men in town, maybe accused of sleeping with a married man. They were considered witches. A woman with a sexual independence was considered a witch, and he proceeded to execute her. He actually proceeded over one trial where a doctor removed a stillborn fetus, and he said it was just as repugnant to remove a baby, whether it was quick or growing. Quick means dead. This is the kind of man that Alito's opinion was based on. This man believed that men had the duty to control women, to keep them in their place, producing more white babies. And
now
any woman who did not want to, any woman who did not want to submit to the male structure of getting married, having sex on demand, and having babies on demand was subject to be treated as a witch and killed. We are not going back to that time. Black women, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, we're not going back to a time in which men can legally rape us. We're
Now,
not
is that
going
in the
back to
book?
the time.
Now, is that in the books of legality for doggone, uh for
Most
is
states,
that in the book
most,
for rape
most
for like,
states,
for it's called marital rape?
marital rape is finally on the books in most states. Some form of marital rape is on the books in most states. Um, but the punishment for the way there's forcible rape, statutory rape, marital rape. And it's like the same judge that I was talking about in the 1600s, his idea was that a husband could not rape his wife, that once a woman agreed to get married, she lost all control over her body. And it was his vessel for his enjoyment at any time he so demanded.
I need
He
to know
actually
where
wrote that.
I gotta find that shit right there. That's some pretty dark shit. Um Now, hang on, let me call Dr. A. One of the things about it is uh it was addressed that um that white masculinity feels like it's being challenged, or pretty much that it's called the white replacement theory. Uh what is Have you heard these talking points being used or being drawn out about like that white America is being replaced, or that somehow that they're becoming the subclass? Have you heard anything about that?
Of course. Okay, there's this thing that world leaders call replacement birth rate. That in order to replace your population, you're part of the demographics. You have to have 2.3 kids. Each woman must have 2.3 kids. That is the only way that you can replace your population for the next generation. In the United States, we have dropped down to 1.8 children per individual. Black women are still a little ahead at 1.9. The only ones that are meeting the replacement theory are Asian women. Asian women are having 2.4 kids per year. Hispanic women are at 2.1. So if you look at Europe, they dropped down to 1.6 children per woman. They went so far as to say, okay, you can have a whole year of paid maternity leave if you have a baby. And of course, the men go, well, we want money due for that working. Okay, we'll give you 80%. Well, why do the women get 100 and we get 80? Okay, y'all choose. Every couple. One of y'all can get 100% of your pay, the other one can get 80%. Stop whining, men. We're trying to help you out here. We're trying to give your women a reason to reproduce for you. And women in Europe could do it up for 5 kids. They still don't want to have babies. Women do not want to have babies. And it's because we don't have these conversations like, okay, you have these women that go, oh, pregnant women can do anything and everything. You can try, but hey, I had trouble touching my toes when I was pregnant. So I couldn't do anything and everything. My life changed. I had 3 babies. I was responsible for someone else's life 24/7. So it
Yeah.
changed me.
So
It changed me.
here's the thing about it. They're put they're pushing out towards saying that the American household is in jeopardy. That pretty much that their jobs are being taken away by immigrants and by lower income people unfairly. Are these fair assessments of things to say, or are these conflated arguments to rile up a mass?
It's arguments to rile up people. I mean, honestly, when I sit up there and say I'm very conservative, but on the conservative side, they are.
Hold up, she just fell out. She fell out. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Like, I've been hearing a lot of these conversations, and I can pull up these formats. I'm hearing that people are saying that, hey, If the immigrants come over, and I've even thought about it, and I said it myself, and I said, well, if you have a good job and you're good at what you do, how can the immigrant take your job from you? I had to start challenging that because I'm saying that I ask anybody, tell me what immigrants came along and took your job. What health benefits did they take from you? How did they take your community from you? When you start asking these questions, because granted, let me pull up where something that, and so what was said to me was that, BMT, we have a whole plethora of black mass shooters. Now let me go ahead and grab the paperwork that was being sent to me. Hang on. Let me go grab that. Hang on. Because I wanted to be fair. I wanted to actually be fair and lenient on looking at, well, maybe are we going around and doing mass shootings? Are black men mass shooters of destruction? Where other groups fear them? I had to ask the question because it's a fair statement to go about asking. So I clicked on the link. Okay, so this, mind you, this was, as you see, this was thrown out by this person 7 hours ago. Like I said, they wasted no time. The minute all of a sudden this white kid or white guy, this man, did this shooting, well, how can black people complain? Y'all got mass shooters too. So I said, okay, let's play the game. Brooklyn subway mass shooter. Did anybody die? Yeah, he shot. But really, the tear gas was the one that fucked up people. He didn't go after just specifically black people or white people or Hispanics. He just started shooting. And that was talked about. And the FBI is now looking into that. Iowa nightclub. That was at a club. That was at a club. Was he a shooter going after a specific group? Let's go at it again. Sacramento mass shooter. Show me any of these guys that specifically went into Kroger's, Dollar General, or any type of facility specifically to go kill a race or a gender. I mean, I know somebody's out there that can probably push against on what I'm saying. Because we're being told that, and we're being told that that somehow white America or white men are in jeopardy of losing it all. And I asked the question, tell me, white man, what are you afraid of losing? Is it because your granddaddy could build a cabin? Is it because that he could lay down and take pussy anytime he wanted to? Do you feel inadequate to whatever masculinity that you feel that you're not adequately getting? I'm asking a fair question.
Only thing I can say is when I'm in forums with other lawyers talking about family law cases, there is a huge push from conservative men to end no-fault divorces. They want women to justify why the court should let them leave. I've had men ask me, well, if I have to pay child support, why can't I get conjugal visits? Huh? Those two do not go together. You do not get to sleep with a woman just because you're giving her money to help support the kids. But I don't get it. I why is it that if my wife and I divorce, she gets half of my shit? It's not your shit, it's both of your shit. But that's not fair. Why isn't it fair? Well, if she wants half, she should have paid for half. Then why get married? Why would she agree to be faithful to you if she had to treat you like a roommate in the sense she has to pay for 50% of everything and then do all the cooking, the cleaning, the childbirth and all. Well, that baby's half mine. You did not birth that. See, that's one of the things that I've noticed. Women in their quest to be equal have downplayed the fact that we got the uteruses. We got the pussy, we got the uterus. That butthole ain't nowhere as powerful as the pussy grip. Hate to be vulgar, but time for people to say it like that. The fact that you can have children and you can choose who to have children with, that is power. That is a powerful thing. And men on both the black conservative kick and the white conservative kick are sitting up there having conversations about, why did that woman choose to have a baby with him? Why do you care? You black bitches need to stop. What? Okay, let me see. Let me get this straight. Black women are having abortions left and right, but black women are still having too many kids. Okay. Black women are having all these bad ass sons because they don't have a man in the house. Well, there's some kind of man in the house because she wouldn't continuously get pregnant if she did not have a man in the house. Black men do not hold each other accountable. White men are overly aggressive in protecting their concept of this is what white race is all about. So somehow another, Americans need to reevaluate where do we want to be for the next generation. What do we want them to promote? If we have both parents outside in the workforce, who's raising the kids?
So what group of men holds themselves accountable?
Oh, Lord have mercy. That's the problem.
But you're saying black men don't hold themselves accountable. But then I'm like, okay, so who holds what group or what gender holds their people accountable? Do black women hold themselves accountable?
No. Not in the sense of I can't control Shanae, Ray, but I can sit up there and hold Katanji Brown. I can hold her accountable because she did what she was supposed to do and she excelled at it. She's part of Delta Sigma Theta, and there's certain groups that push their members to excel. They hold them accountable. But if I sit up there and say, okay, you have AKAs, you have Deltas that try to push for excellence. Maybe you have a group like the Alphas that try Alpha Phi Alpha that try to push excellence. Maybe.
No, but I'm just saying. But if just like y'all have it where y'all sororities hold yourselves accountable, I would think it'd be the same thing for the men. The men would do the same thing. Like, why is it? I'm ultimately trying to.
What are the Kappas known for? What are the Kappas known for?
What, pretty boys?
Uh-huh.
So what about the AKs?
They still are known to be. They're still known to be women of class. Pretty women, but women of class.
Okay, so here's the thing about that. If they're known for that, right? If they're known for that to be women of class and that they get what certain men means, then that means they're going for the most viable men of their promise. So when Morehouse is graduating, you're not going to tell me there aren't some women from Duke and Salem and different other schools sitting there with their gloves on, prissied up, waiting for them men to choose them. You're not going to say that they're not doing that.
I'm saying that they are. That you're actually there are some groups that are actually encouraging a sense of high standard amongst their members. There
Now, would
are.
that be called eugenics? Would that be called black eugenics?
No,
Why not?
because okay, the difference between eugenics and culturalism. When the kings and queens of Europe said, okay, if you're a king, you do not marry outside of nobility. That is what many in the Black community want to promote. They do it in Africa as well. The chief wants to have as many kids as he can with the daughter of another chief because they'll have stronger children. Just because you want an increase in stronger children does not mean you want to euthanize people of a weaker class. That's a different mentality.
Okay, so here's the thing about it. So you're saying that, and I mean, I would definitely like to go down that rabbit hole sometime. I want to know because you're never going to see the Obama daughters ever lay with low hanging fruit. You're not going to ever get them into that state.
Okay,
Michelle will take them, huh?
her mother's an AKA. What do you expect? Her mother is an AKA.
So why should those girls? Why should them? Y'all gonna think BMT is talking vulgar, but you pretty much. I'm pretty sure their wounds are to the highest bidder. They're not going to be laying down with dirty foot Brad and goddamn some dude under 50,000. They're just out of touch. Those girls are only going to be laying with the elites. That's bred for.
I mean, I know people sit up there and go, oh, people should be able to marry for love. But when I was in school, a teacher put it in terms I could understand. Neiman Marcus is one of my favorite stores, has been for years. But she said, you can walk into Neiman Marcus. If you don't have enough money to buy that dress at Neiman Marcus, don't go rush your ass over to Target just to say you got a new dress. Save your money up. If the dress costs $300, save up for that $300 dress. Go back to Neiman Marcus when you got that $300. And even if that dress ain't there, you still got $300 to get you a dress. That's the way it is with men. Men, when a woman is looking for a husband, you look for what you can afford. And if you can't afford that man right now, and he can't afford you, you keep working and then come back and see if you got enough to measure up.
Now I'm trying to figure out, like, when it comes to this sort of talking point of defending the white manifesto. Why are there black people defending the white manifesto? Because I'm trying to figure that out right now, especially on the right wingers. I'm seeing people defending the white manifesto about America, being great in a certain fashion. Every time something egregious happens, is a great deflection. Or, hey, you niggas are this, y'all are this and that. What's up with the great deflection?
The vast majority of white Americans are not racist, but the vast majority of all Americans are biased. We judge a book by a cover. We work on that mentality of you can never ever, you only get one chance to make a first impression. That right there shows that we operate on a system of bias. You need to wear the right shoes, you need to wear the right pants, the right dress, have the right hairstyle, the right jewelry, drive the right car. We are a status-based economy, and people are judged based on their appearance first and foremost. And this false sense of I don't see color. Well, do you see blonde? Do you see blonde? Just just ask me, do you see brunette? Do you see redheads? If you can tell a person's hair color, you can also see a person's skin color. I'm not ashamed of my skin color. I have a beautiful ass skin color. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars a year trying to get my brown skin color. So I have a sense of pride about who I am and what I am. But we are moving into a society where the white male feels like there is no one to advocate for him. They are literally going, well, I'm confused. You women want it 50-50. We give you 50-50 and you don't want that. You don't want to go out and make 50% of the income. You don't want to do that. We have given you, you don't have, we have given you washers, dryers, dishwashers, vacuums. We made your life so much easier. And now you're sitting up here wanting not to marry us unless we agree that should we piss you off, you get 50% of our shit. Men have forgotten. Women cannot have kids after 55. So if I'm with you, if a woman, when a woman gets married, she has a very short period of reproductive time. Men forget that because, again, you have this group of women that are like, I'm 60 and I'm still sexy, but you cannot have children. So back in the day when they conceived the laws, it was the idea that once a woman got married and had a child, her value to other men plummeted. Whether she was divorced or widowed, she was no longer, obviously she wasn't a virgin, but now she has another mouth to feed. So laws were designed to try to protect this woman because, hey, women, you can say it all you want to. I don't care if I got 5 kids. I'm still sexy. Men want me. They don't want those 5 kids. Am I lying, Bill?
No, you're not lying. You're not lying, and we're being very frank about it. Like, that is a factor that you have to take in, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. It's
but
not. It's going to be a double-edged sword. Like your value versus my value. Like it's going to be different on you just pushed out 5 kids. I mean, shit.
Right, and so you have advocates down in Florida. I remember when Jeb Bush said it. He said, you divorced women need to spend more time trying to find you a new husband to take care of you than running around interfering with this man's marriage by asking for alimony. That was Jeb Bush. That was less than 5 years ago that Jeb Bush criticized women for asking for alimony.
Now, was he talking about black women or was he talking about just women in general?
He was talking about women in general, but especially white women. Because
I'm about to say, how often do you black women honestly get alimony? Let's just be honest. How often do you black women honestly get alimony?
I had a friend down in Florida. That walked into court. He was living in a $2 million mansion. He walked in the court and said, Your Honor, he said, this is all smoke screen and mirrors. A black man couldn't really afford a $2 million mansion. I just have a high school degree. The judge said, You're right. Did not and ordered minimum child support. Because the guy said, I don't have a job right now. The real estate market. I was a homeboy house hustler, Your Honor, and I can't hustle up houses right now. The judge said, okay. The wife was a nurse. He said, okay, well, I'll order you to pay $384 a month for 2 kids. The man was living in a $400,000 house. Why was he living in a $400,000 on a lake? He told the judge, I'm just house sitting for a friend. White judge was inclined to believe it. Needed to believe that for his own sense of self-worth, that there was no way that this black man had made more money than him. He was an educated judge, a lawyer. He's sitting up there barely making $200,000. He could not believe that this black man, how dare this black woman accuse this black man of being richer than him? When they say that white people feel shut out, do you not hear them sit up there and talk about the NBA? NBA used to be all white. Now look at it. It's all black. We need affirmative action for the NBA. NFL. How dare those overpriced players kneel? That's disgusting. What do they have to complain about? They got more money than me. Yes, those conversations are had very frequently. Very frequently. That there are certain people that believe in the American dream.
Now, does it stand? Is the American dream stand or equate equally to all sexes, genders, and races? Is it a fully equal dream or no? It is all a farce.
Each person is entitled to his fair share of what he bargained for. It goes back to the biblical story. Yes, I know. Forgive me for bringing a biblical story after profanity, but there's a story in the Bible about a landowner who needed some help with his field, and he went out early in the morning and hired people and said, "I'll pay you $10 if you come work for me." So around noontime, he needed some more workers. He said, "I'll pay you $10 if you come work for me." At around 3 o'clock, he said, "I'll pay you $10 if you work with me to the end of the day." At the end of the workday, when everyone comes to get their wages, everyone got $10. Everybody. Because that's what they all agreed to. If you came in at 10, you were sitting there going, "Well, that's not fair. I've been working since 10 in the morning, and they just came in at 3 and they got the same as I did." But according to the Bible, who are you to sit up there and be jealous of what somebody else negotiated? You had the right to negotiate a higher rate, but you didn't. This man agreed. He was a man of his word. So he paid them a just wage because that's what they bargained for. But now we are seeing people that are upset. They're looking at, yes, I got $10, but I worked harder to get my $10 than you did. That's where we are in America. Everyone is sitting up there looking at what they have compared to what the other person has and how hard that person has worked. And the white man is sitting up there now going, "Well, it's just not fair. I wasn't born 6'5". I work hard, but I don't have $1 million contract." But who do they see with these $1 million contracts? There's a video going around now about a black guy who was driving a Hummer or a Rolls Royce, something like that. And he stopped to get gas, and the white guy came up to him and said, "You're a rapper, aren't you?" He said, "No." He said, "You're Lil Wayne, aren't you?" He said, "No." He said, "But to drive that truck, you have to be a rapper." He's like, "No." But again, that's the assumption that black people have it easier. We can entertain. We can make money as entertainers, football players. We just have it easier. We don't talk about the David Stewarts. We don't talk about, oh God, what's the guy's name down in Austin that founded Vista?
Damn it, I forgot his name. I gotta look it up, girl. I forgot his name.
David Stewart is in St. Louis. He's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, runs a multi-billion-dollar company, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the assumption that if a black person has money, they must be an entertainer. And white people have kind of conceded that role. When Tiger Woods started playing golf, he was taking over their world. When the ice skater, what's the black ice skater's name?
I forgot that girl who could do that one move that nobody could do. They banned her move.
Triple Lux.
She could do a move that nobody could do, and they banned her shit. They banned her shit from the goddamn Olympics because they're like, "What the fuck is this move?" Like, holy shit. Yeah, and all yeah,
Simone,
anybody can come
right?
up on the
Simone,
panel. Anybody can come up on the panel. It's free for
what's her name?
anybody. Snowman,
Simone,
Truism, all of y'all can all come up. Go ahead.
what's her name? Simone Biles and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
gymnast.
that one. Yeah, they also put a stop to her move.
Again, sometimes when the competition just feels like it is so overwhelming that yes, you do have a sense of, hold up, what is the white man really, really good at? If we just, I mean, think about it. I mean, in sports, you're seeing direct competition, and there are some good white basketball players, football players, hockey players. There are, but then there are some white people that look at it like, oh man, it's just not fair. All these black people are getting to play in the NFL. But if they're the best, why shouldn't they?
I think one of the things about it is this is why I worry about this manifesto this white manifesto that came out of the replacement theory. And literally as it comes out and is being brought out, they are going to they're taking a look at a lot of the online groups, forum, 4chan, these talking points. I get y'all can say, well, it's the government coming after y'all. Shit, I don't give a fuck. Like welcome to reality of life. Like they're looking at a lot of the talking points. This dude had a manifesto. They're definitely going for that of the juggler of Tucker Carlson as well as others. Seemed like Michelle had a lot of to get off. Hang on, let me grab and I want y'all to just listen to yeah, this right here. This right here of we're gonna play this and I'm gonna see what's y'all opinion. Is this fair? Is this wrong? This is just an assessment from MSB NBC. Maybe, like I said, it's an open panel. The link is down there if you want to grab it. Let me go ahead and play this and get it popping.
New York senior senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who was running for re-election, with polls showing him headed for winning 68% of the vote, which gave him enough confidence to allow me to work on his re-election campaign when I knew next to nothing about politics. I made many return trips over the years of working in the Senate with Senator Moynihan, who loved Buffalo long before I did. It is New York State's second largest city, a city born as a trading post before colonial governments were formed. To that long, rich history, we must now add the deadliest mass murder in the history of the city of Buffalo, which happened on Saturday. When the headline flashed across my phone,
Now, I just want you to know, like, this is not my words. This is somebody else's of the news. This is the news. This is the goddamn news. So just letting y'all know right now, this is the goddamn news. So don't take it out of context. This is just the news. So hang on, let me make sure I got it correct. Can you hear it, Michelle? Make sure you can hear it. 46. There we go. Here we go. All right, let's get back to it.
On Saturday. When the headline flashed across my phone on Saturday, I made some educated guesses about the murder and the murder that were soon confirmed. A white supremacist teenage boy with the most effective for mass murder aimed at black people. Just like the mass murderer who shot killed 9 black people in Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina in 2015. And those assumptions that I made are exactly what the story turned out to be. The Justice Department has stated publicly
is investigating the matter as a hate crime, racially motivated act of white supremacy and violent extremism. As they do, we must all work together to address the hate that remains a stain on the soul of America. The hearts are heavy once again, but a resolve must never waver.
How many more times during his presidency will Joe Biden have to say that? We know it will happen again. We know with the number of dead might be higher next time. And we know that between now and the next time this happens, nothing will be done to reduce in any way the chances of this happening again. 10 dead this time. Roberta Drury, age 32, Marcus Morrison, age 52, Andre McNeil, age 53, Aaron Salter, age 55, Geraldine Talley, age 62, Celestine Cheney, age 65, Edward Patterson, age 67, Catherine Massey, age 72.
Now, I want to pause that right there, if you don't mind. Right? When the Iowa thing was brought up, okay, when that was being used, okay, you can't find nothing similar to that. You can't find nothing. This is black on black. I will eat that, and we'll own that, and we'll understand that of that nightclub shit. We'll own that. Mind you, there was shooting in the club. If I'm correct about that in the show, right? They were shooting in the club. We'll go with you on the car show. Now, let me make sure I get it over there to the car show, okay? So you got the Iowa shooting, Sacramento. I'm not excusing none of these assholes. And I hope they get the full justice. Who among these people, all law-abiding citizens, look at their ages? These were people who had jobs, who actually had no issues, that were stapled into their community. Pops is pretty much a generic, like Piggly Wiggly. It's not like that area is like a food desert type of area. All these are people in their age, in their upper age. 86, 77, 72, 65, 52, 53, 55, 62. 57. Oh, that's 67. She's the youngest one, and she was the first one to get shot. The 32-year-old. Show me the latter difference of a Negro going into Kroger's or Publix and pulling this same atrocity.
Show me. I will. I'll show you. See, I believe in telling the truth. I believe in telling the truth. In Dallas, a black gunman supposedly opened fire on a BML protest in order to kill all the police members. I think it was 11 police officers killed. No civilians were killed. None. No one.
But
the
those
only
were
civilian that's what I'm saying. That one time in American history where we can point to a black, at least tried to point to a black man that did a massive shooting. He did not indiscriminately shoot civilians.
So wait, so hold on. Okay, so if you want to go with that mass murder, and that's a fair good one, the police could fight back. I know it's fucked up to say. I know it's fucked up to say, but the police were shooting back. They weren't going. They weren't like he was using his rifle from a strategic position, right? Let me know if I'm wrong about y'all. What happened up there in Texas? He was in a strategic position. It was a ex-military versus police officers.
Yep. And the
Okay.
only civilian that got hurt was because one of the bullets went through a police officer, hit the pavement, and she got shrapnel.
Right.
Yeah.
So show me again, but I can pull up the church, and I can pull up this. We can pull up we can pull up the Mississippi bombing. We can pull up different things in history with non-combatives being slaughtered off.
Don't forget about Philadelphia.
Huh?
Don't forget about Philadelphia.
Okay.
The city dropped a bomb on the black people that were shooting.
Yeah, they did. So they did that. They did that. Okay, so yes, we got. So again, and this is an open format. Anybody can come on in to have a conversation. I would, you know what I'm saying, but I want to have the discussion. Me and the show want to have the discussion. And you have it where they're looking at it like, hey, other people are seeing like, yo, man, there was no need for this at all. These people weren't trying to fight. These people weren't trying to get into no kind of ain't trying to get into nothing. These people were probably going up there to go pick up their goddamn food for goddamn Sunday. Their scratch off tickets. Get their money orders. Pick up some food for getting home, going home. You're going to have a hard time, and you can't tell me other people do not have the right to be angry.
Edward Patterson, age 67. Catherine Massey, age 72. Young, age 77. Ruth Whitfield, age 86. They are all dead tonight because they are black and they were at the Tops Market on the east side of Buffalo. The current senior senator from New York loves Buffalo and has visited Buffalo more than any New York senator before him.
I know this community. Years I worked hard to bring the grocery store to the east side of Buffalo because the community deserved a full-fledged supermarket. It was a much-needed oasis in what was then a total food desert.
The mass murderer used zip code information to find the upstate New York neighborhood most densely populated with black people. Syracuse, a city of 148,000 people, is 80 miles north from the white Republican upstate neighborhood where the murderer lived. 29% of the people of Syracuse are black, but the mass murderer decided that he could get a higher body count at the Tops supermarket in Buffalo, and so he bypassed Syracuse and nearby Rochester, whose population is 39% black, and drove the 200 miles to Buffalo. We don't know why the murderer is alive tonight. The police had every legal right to shoot him.
Whoa, a white man saying that?
His hand when they cornered him in the store, but they talked him into dropping his gun to the floor, and then they arrested him. One of those police officers had been on the street.
Lord have mercy. When a white man says that, you know that's some shit in the show.
Yeah.
you know when a white man says that, I had to stop. I was like, what? When, you know that's some shit. When a news anchor says, why the fuck is this guy still alive? Like, you mean to tell me y'all can choke out a man for a pack of cigarettes? Y'all can shoot a kid with a toy gun. A man kills 10 people. Somehow this motherfucker still gets in the car peacefully? Like, at some point, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck does it take? What the hell do you have to do to shoot one of these motherfuckers, bro? Like, at this point, I don't know what can they honestly do. What honestly can you do? You can't, like, honestly, like, damn. Like shit. You can shoot up a church and you will go to Burger King. You can literally mow down a food desert grocery store with nothing but senior citizens and still
you get taken alive.
And still get taken alive.
He wasn't even shot. He wasn't even shot.
They talk.
The only one
listen, bro.
The only one who shot at him was a security guard.
The only one who shot at him was the black security guard. Man, get the fuck out of here. New York City police are trash. Like, y'all are not worth a flying, flipping fuck. Like, honestly, defund the fucking police. I'm now.
Seen the video? No. Have you seen the video from Lawton? Have you seen the video from Lawton, Oklahoma, where the police run in? They get called on domestic violence, and the police come in, and the guy's standing outside, and they said, "Hands!" He put his hands up in the air, and they shot him. He laid down on the ground, fell down on the ground. They yelled, "Hands!" again. He put his hands up in the air. They shot him again. They said, "Stop reaching," and shot him again. I mean, this man had not killed anybody, was putting his hands up in order to surrender. And they shot him for putting his hands up in the air. But yet and still,
I'm sorry, bro. If I have a gun, I'm out to just go out fighting because I already know if you ain't, I'm gonna have to put powder on my face to be a white man if I'm gonna make it back out. Because everything else, you just get. I'm mind-bogglingly blown because even the white news prompters like, how the fuck did this white man survive that shit? How did he survive that shit? You know what I'm saying?
But you already know that they're already going for the mental illness angle. They're already going for the mental illness angle. That he had been hospitalized the year before for contemplating a mass murder suicide at his high school. So obviously this guy, poor young man, has mental issues. He's a pawn. He's being used. They're building the case for sympathy for him. The only thing I want to do is have him thrown out with a bunch of rabid dogs.
Let me get back to it. We're doing here by the number one grinder. What's going on, number one grinder? Welcome. We're going over to. We're trying to figure out, but I'm trying to pinpoint. Is this a Ted Bundy talking? Does Tucker Carlson have any blood on his hands for this type of shit? Like the fact that this dude said what he said about Tucker Carlson is mind-boggling. Is mind-boggling to say the least. Like that shit had me flabbergasted. That literally they're trying to figure out like how the fuck did this man live through a whole 10. Let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Welcome, brother. And I know he's from New York.
On site, they got in his hand when they cornered him in the store, but they talked him into dropping his gun to the floor, and then they arrested him. When those police officers had been on the street with the unarmed 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, maybe Michael Brown would be left tonight.
Damn.
For some reason,
Message.
Unarmed black teenagers and men seem more likely to be shot and killed by police than white supremacist teenage mass murderers with guns in their hands.
You can't make this shit up, bro.
Oh, Lord. Did he speak the truth? Did he speak the truth?
That could get him fired. It could understand Florida now.
Yo, if that wasn't the hardest shit, yo, bro, this man hitting on so many talking points, bro. If I could cash app him, I would, bro.
In this lifetime.
Yo, bro, it's like you can't make the shit up. I know people gonna say, "Nah, it's not like that." You know, blacks, no, bro. Like we were just born with just a different hand, bro. And there's nothing you can tell me or shame any of us three here in that about this shit. You can't make this shit up, man. Let's get back to this shit, man. This guy, he just going in, bro.
The weekend shootings is part of an ugly pattern. One that dates to the earliest days of this nation. Racism has always been, and unfortunately still is, the poison of America. The original sin of slavery, the racial terror, discrimination, separate but equal, white supremacy and bigotry that followed, unfortunately, continue to exert poisonous influence on our society.
Senator Schumer focused on the support for the poisonous thinking that the mass murderer received from the Fox channel owned and operated by the Australian immigrant Rupert Murdoch.
Online, the shooter proudly professed himself as a neo-fascist, white supremacist, anti-Semite. His views, shared extensively online, embraced a dangerous ideology known as, quote, the Great Replacement, unquote, which asserts that a conspiracy exists to replace white Americans with immigrants and people of color. The same hatred that motivated the shooting at Walmart in El Paso. Same poison that possessed the shooter of a synagogue in Pittsburgh. The same bigotry that murdered 8 people in Atlanta last year. And the same evil that took the lives of 9 worshipers at a church in Charleston. It was the same evil at play this Saturday in the beloved city of Buffalo, New York. Not long ago, views like replacement theory were only found in the darkest places in deranged minds. Replacement theory and other racially motivated views are increasingly coming out into the open and given purported legitimacy by some MAGA Republicans and cable news pundits.
Oh, shit.
It's a message that has also found a special home in several right-wing outlets and on one cable news channel in particular, Fox News. Tucker Carlson has spewed rhetoric that echoes at least 400 times on his show.
Damn.
Since 2016. It is not enough for outlets like Fox News to simply condemn Saturday's violence and condemn shooters' racist views and then return to their regularly scheduled programming. Fox News and their hosts need to actually stop spreading dangerous ideas like replacement theory on their shows.
They will stop the minute Rupert Murdoch tells them to stop. It's as simple as that. Every minute spent talking about the TV hosts on Fox is a minute that hides the true villain of the piece. Rupert Murdoch is the billionaire puppeteer. In 1995, when Rupert Murdoch was planning to create a cable news channel, he had never heard of any of the people who are now his most prominent hosts. But Rupert Murdoch knew what he wanted Fox to do from day one, and Fox has always done and said exactly what Rupert Murdoch wants. The headline of Renee Graham's Boston Globe piece says, with the Buffalo massacre, Fox News has blood on its hands again. The article mentions Tucker Carlson 9 times and his predecessor Bill O'Reilly once, but the article does not mention Rupert Murdoch under the title Fox News has blood on its hands. Fox News doesn't have hands, but Rupert Murdoch does. White supremacist mass murderers in this country who take encouragement from Fox want to, among other things, stop immigration to this country, as does Fox, a company owned and operated by an immigrant who has done more
Wow.
in the country in the 21st century than any immigrant in the world has done to any other country in the 21st century. Rupert Murdoch built a network with the sole.
That is crazy as I've never actually thought that through. An immigrant that wants to stop immigration but that owns Fox News Network. Ain't that a conundrum of a bitch?
And let me say this, brother, brother BMT. This is the same person when the Twin Towers has went down. He also owned $900 million of property down there too. That, and to this day, New York City, New York State do not want to talk about it. No, I
Joe,
know. Born and raised in New York.
Mhm.
Trust me.
What's going on?
check your messenger. Check your messenger.
Got you. Let me read
I
these
just
comments right here. I got you. Let's see. Somebody says, and shout out to everyone who's coming on through. Hard work says BS. Martha Munda says this issue of the overturning of Roe versus Wade had everything to do with eugenics and forced birth. When we break this down, it is likely that only those who have the privilege to bodily autonomy, that privilege of body autonomy will be for the elite. I can agree with that. Others will be scared, poor, or desperate, and trapped in to reproduce. Yeah, go ahead, brother. I know you are in New York. What? Go ahead. You got the floor.
Well, I'm born and raised in New York, but I've been in Virginia for almost 10 years. But I've been sometimes we go to New York. This is the hardest that Chuck Schumer ever talked. I'm being honest with you. This is the hardest he ever talked. He never really standing for black people. He one of the liberals that download racists. And for him to come out like that, I believe he had his hands forced. And I would say this: where the Black Hispanic caucus at? I'm just saying for New York. I'm just saying where they at? Where they at? You know, and for me that when this happened, this is not the first time this happened in around the country, yo. But in New York, there is thousands. I'm gonna tell you, brother BMT. For me, being 56 years old, going on June 4th, hope I live to see that day, God's willing. There are thousands of cases in New York that actually happen, that actually sweep underneath the rug throughout the years. Underneath the rug that I'm talking about, in boxes, in vaults, that they don't even want to like touch it. Not even the city, not even the state, even the federal. But so what this has happened, I don't want people to say, oh, you don't care. No, it does hit home because at the end of the day, that's our people. It's a recycle of things, but now you see white people saying this, and what do you expect? Well, I mean, he, somebody. I even cut you off and say one last thing. Dylan shot 9 people in Charleston, South Carolina. After that, he got a burger. I'm just saying, what?
Black people, we're gonna have to make a decision. We are honestly going to have to make a decision. Are we going to realize that we cannot expect the police to protect us? I mean, we've been singing "I Call 911" a long time ago, for decades now. At some point in time, we have to get over our fear of the white man, the police, and they're going to have to get used to seeing us carrying guns to protect ourselves. They're going to have to get used to that notion, because otherwise more Black lives are going to be lost. And I know it's a fear, because Joe, I sent you the video of the young man who did not have a gun in his hand and how he was treated by the police.
I can't really show that, but it is going to show him getting blasted, and I know YouTube will not allow me to. I can't show it. Like literally, they're going to flag me. They're going to flag me like the last shooting. I feel you. I can put the link down below. I'll put it in there if y'all want to go there. Like I said,
They released the dash cam video from the police officers, so that officers have been charged with first-degree manslaughter.
Right. Hang on, and I'm gonna do what I can to show some of it. I can't even show it.
No, you can't do that, but BJ. I ain't even trying
You
to
can't even do the audio, can you? You can't even do the audio, can you?
No, you can't.
No, Grindr and I both know. You show that kind of stuff, especially at these kind of platforms, they'll chop you.
They'll flag. They're flagging quickly. Yeah, he's got much stricter. Now he can't. Back in the day, you could do audio. You can't even do audio no more. Nah.
No. Shout out to Truism. I'm not scared of white men. No. I don't think anybody here is scared of a white man. I'm not like shit. I'm not scared of them. I see them every other day. I trained, do everything. I live my life pretty damn well. But
I should rephrase that. I should say the police. That I remember when we started really pushing open carry here in Texas, and the Huey P. Newton Gun Club marched on the state capitol with other protesters to demand the right to open carry. The founder of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club was targeted by the FBI. He was thrown in jail for 3 months as a terrorist because he chose to march on the Texas state capitol along with hundreds of other protesters to demand open carry. He lost his job. He lost his house, his car. He lost everything because he was held for 90 days as a suspected terrorist. I have known other people who were at an open carry event and someone snapped a picture of a black man holding a gun. And when the shooting happened, I was seeing tweets and text messages from judges saying we need to kill this bastard. Elected judges were saying we need to kill this bastard.
I think we have. One of the things about it is this replacement theory that literally that American way of life is in jeopardy, and you have to start challenging the question. But I've listened to Tucker Carlson. I've listened to his videos. I listen to Fox News quite a bit, and some things I started questioning myself. Like, it's a lot of fear mongering talk. If you understand what I'm saying, it's a lot of fear mongering talk. They're coming to get you. They're gonna take our this. They're gonna take away that. They're gonna do this. They're gonna come get our guns. Like X, Y, and Z. And every day when I hear the sky is falling, and I sit there with my umbrella, the sky never fell down. Every time I heard about that, they're forcing us for shots, and then after that, it was like, well, where was this mass death squad snatch people up and throwing them in the back of paddy wagons and shooting them like cattle? But I've heard these conversations and these talks that they're going to come get us, that they're going to make the National Guard or they're going to make the soldiers fight the Americans. And I'll be like, damn, what the hell is this? Some extreme crazy shit. And I'm like, God, like I'm just looking at that, like, yo, at some point, I even had problem with critical race theory. Why is it bad to know about history? Why only just talk about the good things? Why not talk about all the things?
Because it's making my kid came home and they said, Mommy, did grandma make the black people sit at the back of the bus? I don't want her to think that her grandmother had anything to do with that. That's just horrible. It's just horrible. They're making our kids hate each other, hate themselves. And I'm like, yeah, I've had white people tell me, Nichelle, it wasn't like black people as slaves had it that bad. They had food, shelter, and clothing. a lot of white people back then were sleeping out in the woods because people weren't giving them food and a place to stay. That is how they're rewriting history. That the slaves received remuneration in the form of housing, food, and clothing.
You know, at some point, the shaming process that's being used or being told is, like I said, a lot of these social media hues and spaces or talking points of, women are taking over, your job's in jeopardy, you don't have a choice. And I'm like, well, how do you explain me? Or, Grinder, he's a well-to-do brother. I mean, he wasn't broken or emasculated, and we've had our fair share of trials. We talked about abuse. We talked about boys being abused in the home. We talked about different things about family and staying solid and your masculine as a man. We talked about defending the women that we care about and protect. Now, we were told that the system of the power that be. Now you're hearing a different story that on their side of the fence, they're being told that their system isn't obeying them, isn't following them. That these men feel inadequate, less they feel inferior. Why is it that this African child comes over here, he can get into college, but my child can't get into college? My child.
You notice they're putting limits on the number of Asian students that can get into certain universities now.
I'm hearing that they actually are taking off points for the Asians. Like the Asians got to work extra harder for their test scores. Again, me too. Somehow that these women felt so worried, and I gotta give it to Dave Chappelle when he said it. How the hell you saying women are saying me too? Yet y'all go to the same Academy Awards or the same Oscars with the same men that y'all say are touching y'all.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell does that work? How the hell the same group that's saying that, hey, my body, my choice, you can't tell me what the fuck to do. But then you turn around and see, this is why I said, like, you gotta really watch the sleight of hand with some of these damn people, but they be saying some off the wall shit. The same people that are out there preaching about, hey man, like they're destroying our country, it'll be the same group out there running around saying, I identify as a peacock squat dookie male hybrid werewolf. And you're like, what the fuck? It ain't us banging hard on the Rainbow Coalition drum. I know y'all like to believe that. It ain't black people.
Nope.
But I can tell you, go to Boston, go up to California, go to Atlanta, you're gonna see who's really going hard and shit. You're gonna see who really riding that damn bicycle with no seat. Like, again, the shit is wild, man, and it blows my mind.
You know that there's a problem with white men. I'm going to say it like this: when white men are fighting tooth and nail to have transgenders get the same rights as women, white men honestly believe that women have more rights than white men. So there are white men that are putting on dresses and demanding that they be treated just like white women, and they are participating in track meets. They're participating in swim meets. So yes, there is this whole idea that women have more rights than white men. And the only way to beat them is to join them. That men have told me that it is hard being a white male because you are expected to pay for the date. But black men are expected to pay for the date, No, Michelle, white women will actually take black men out on. They assume that the black man doesn't have any money. Y'all really believe that shit? Really? So every time y'all see a white woman out with a black man, you are assuming she's taking care of him, and she would not provide the same financial support for a white man. But that is the undercurrent that is going on right now.
Well, I'm gonna say this though, and I think that we better understand this very loud and clearly. We have to think like this: anybody that is heterosexual is under attack, and we have to understand that. We got to understand that because the things that we've seen that is overturned, that is turning. It's not really they not really talk about the nucleus of the family, that the man and woman in the house and the kids and procreation and stuff like that on. And as a black man, it still's not enough programs for men that could talk and get our young black boys a chance to make, and the heterosexual we under attack. And so when that conversation going to happen? That's
I think we discussed that, but it comes down to the destruction. When people start talking about the destruction of the nuclear family, how did it happen? And as I said, we did away with polk salad. That's one of the things that I sit up there and laugh because at one point in time, women could not get a divorce absent a showing of adultery. You had to prove your case. You had to have witnesses to show this man beat the shit out of you. You were trapped in a marriage. You often had to run away and just hide, just go off and leave everything. So this whole idea of, America during the 1950s, everyone was like Leave It to Beaver. The husband went out to work. The wife stayed home. She had her pearls on by the time she cooked dinner. That was not the reality for the majority of America. The majority. We look at Bewitched. He was an executive. He was not a bus driver like Ralph Cramden. The majority of white Americans during the 50s were struggling. They were bus drivers. They were waitresses. They lived in tiny, cramped apartments because they could not afford a house. That was like the American dream, that maybe by the time you were 40, you would have saved up enough for a down payment so you can get a 20-year mortgage. And just as you retired, you had finally paid off your mortgage. And the only thing you had to worry about was property taxes. That was the reality of America in the 1950s. Now jump ahead to 2021. People are sitting there going, wait a minute. I don't qualify for a $1,000 mortgage, so I have to get a $2,000 a month apartment. The strain on people financially is obscene. It's obscene. And the idea of speaking as a woman, the reality is that we've never tackled the issue in America that when the kids are born, the mother's life changes. I love the people that sit up there and say, well, girl, I had this baby. I popped that baby out and I dropped it off at the nanny. I dropped it off at the daycare at 6 weeks old, and I went to work and everything worked out fine. Well, really? Why did you do that? Why did you drop your innocent 6-week-old child off with a complete stranger? Why? But that became commonplace. It became so much easier to do that we have long not respected the work mothers do. We undermined it so much to the point of, why would you marry a man and then have to fight him to keep him from taking the kid half the time? Just go out and get pregnant. Don't tell nobody whose it is. If you make enough money, you can go down to a sperm clinic and pick your designated depository. That's one of the reasons why men are feeling left out of the mix, like they're being replaced. And in a lot of ways, the fact that women are free to pursue their own careers intimidates a lot of men, especially white men, because as Grant Hill's mother said, you had Hillary Clinton going, they graduated together. Hillary Clinton going, we were the first generation of working women. Grant Hill's mama said, well, I didn't have that feeling because my mother had worked, my grandmother had worked. As a matter of fact, they passed laws in certain places that said Black women had to work. Even if your husband made enough money for you to stay at home, there were so many white women that needed domestics, they forced Black women to go work for white women that didn't want to do their own cooking and cleaning. So I come at this from, yes, heterosexuals are under attack, but who is suffering the most right now is Black women. And every time we get to the conversation, it's like, oh, you Black women are doing so much better. Look, the president just decided to nominate a Black woman. I mean, that shows how far you got to come. Unlike sitting there going, here are all her qualifications. She's more qualified than Brett Kavanaugh. She's more qualified than Roberts. We went all through her quality. But the only thing that she will ever be remembered for is being the black woman that he picked. That she didn't get on the Supreme Court equally. She worked 3 times as hard as everybody else. But no, that still was not good enough. And Tucker Carlson fueled that hatred of this woman. And I said, I can't tell people, I said, we should be very happy because he could have appointed the first openly lesbian Black woman like he did with the press secretary. He could have appointed someone that was openly hostile to American values altogether. I mean, there are people out there who don't want to be what they were born as. They hate it. I'm sorry, they do. But that's their problem, not mine. I shouldn't have to watch my pronouns because I might offend you. So yes, I do understand that we're under attack. But what are we going to do about it?
Now, but see, here's the thing about this. And see, the thing we're trying to assess and look at, and welcome everybody who's coming into the chat. You could be anywhere, but you're definitely here. We're looking at it and trying to ask the question. But I know a lot of people, and I'm trying to figure out with a lot of people about the Tucker Carlson, about is he the Ted Bundy of the airwaves? Is he inciting hate speech? I know y'all have your feelings about Don Lemon, but I never heard Don Lemon tell people about, hey, they're trying to wipe us out, they're trying to destroy us, they're trying to eradicate us. I've never heard Don Lemon saying that. And what's crazy, let me see if I can go pull it up. Buffalo shooter. Now, so we're going to try to.
The latest thing that's going on in the conservative movement, people are sharing a docudrama called 2,000 Mules. It's called 2,000 Mules. And it's being pushed that every conservative must watch it because it's basically telling all these conservatives, the government, DC is out to get you. DC is out to get you. DC is out to get you. They are going to take everything from you. You won't have anything to leave your children. Your children won't be able to get jobs because all of the immigrants are coming in. You won't be able to get food because they're attacking everything that people are afraid of. But they are, and they're sowing. See, look right here. Look what they're doing. They're going to get you out of your house. They're going to get you out of your house. You're not going to be able to give it to your kids. People are scared. Look what they're doing to your grandmother. They're going to throw granny up on the bus. People are scared. They get confirmation that the things that they're scared of are actually happening, and they're powerless to do anything about it. They can't fight the government. You can't fight City Hall. So yes, there are people saying there's going to be a revolution. You better get your guns now, because there's going to be a revolution.
So the thing about that, and you know, and I can honestly see them saying that. The Buffalo shooter pleads not guilty after 10 killed, 3 wounded. We'll look at this right now. Literally, he already pleaded not guilty. Deadly shooter shooting a supermarket Buffalo now investigated as a racially motivated hate crime, and all 13 people were shot. Of them, 11 were black. They said that the suspect gunman had plans to continue his rampage. Had he not been stopped, CBS 2's Kevin Brinko reported Monday on Saturday 10 lives lost at the supermarket. Brinko spoke. One man had lost his brother. He said that he was buying a birthday cake for his 3-year-old son. My brother came to celebrate his son's birthday. He came here to buy him cake. Now I have no brother. He has no father. Is that fair? So the feelings. And I've seen on some channels and some panels where people were making fun of this. This was funny. This is funny to some men that this was just Pookie crying. This is, and y'all gotta be very careful with some of these people that say this type of disgusting stuff. Elliot lives 2 hours. Elliot, that's the guy who lives 2 hours away. He said he got a call Saturday night that his brother was among the victims. His brother wasn't perfect. He wasn't great, but he changed his life. He was a good man. He was, and see, they're going to pinpoint at that he wasn't a good man. He was a good father to him. He was not a bad guy. He was all I had left. Elliot said. His family isn't the only one grieving. Whitford, he died. And I can promise you, you're going to see people are going to look for chinks in these 10 dead people's flaws. If they went to jail, did they have any prior arrests? And you know what I would tell any of you shines, any of you disgusting individuals, go fuck yourself. Because anybody that's willing to go look up the dead and try to judge them, but they were doing wrong with buying groceries. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. And I would say that. You can come on panel and I'll say it to you right now. Because literally you're trying to find a reason of, hey, what this man did was justified. He was crazy. That man wasn't crazy.
No,
he wasn't no boy. He exactly, Granda. That was premeditated. That means he went there with an intent to do what he was going to do. Mm-hmm. He already understood.
I'm sorry.
Y'all can say and y'all can say, well, he got talked to about shooting a school. Yeah, you know they could have classified that as going to a guidance counselor, going to a therapist. That don't mean he got in trouble. Y'all, you see, if y'all would have said, huh?
The only comparison that you can make with this shooter is Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh was a vile, hateful individual that premeditatedly took the lives of innocent people. That's what this man did. All these other comparisons about, oh, hey, black people shoot up places too. Premeditated.
See, the thing about
This is just as bad as the Jewish synagogue shooting. Yes, this is vile, heinous as the Texas church shooting. Yes. But there are people, we need to recognize these people that are premeditated, cold-blooded murderers versus people that are just part of a criminal enterprise that start shooting out of anger. So
You know,
that's just
now the thing about it is, we're learning more about the gunman's history. Over the weekend, we found out the 18-year-old was taken into custody last year for threatening to shoot up his high school. He underwent a mental health evaluation. I hate when they go to this kid shit.
Mm-hmm.
This man had 200 miles. He had time
It was planned.
to scope out and plan. You know how much he planned this shit? Let me go back. Let me see how much he planned this shit. This man planned this shit so thoroughly. This shit wild. I want to go. That's an hour long talk. This man planned this shit so vividly. Right? This dude, where's that?
they're
I had
classifying the wrong things as mental illness. They're classifying the wrong things as mental illness.
see, and I hate when they try to do that shit, bro. I hate when they try
Yeah.
to classify. Oh, so he's mentally sick. So that means you might as well classify every gang banger that grew up without a father mentally ill. Classify every goddamn woman that has been abused and out there selling and tricking. Say she's mentally ill. See, y'all will call these motherfuckers that shoot up schools, shoot up goddamn populists, the Walmart shit. Y'all call these motherfuckers mentally ill. But see, y'all don't say that same shit when a gangbanger shoots up. Y'all don't say that shit when a motherfucker goddamn shoots up a club. But you'll say this guy was mentally ill. You didn't say that the boy that was getting bullied in Texas and that shot. Y'all didn't say he was mentally ill. Did they, Nichelle? No.
Nope.
So now all of a sudden, this motherfucker is sick a year ago. Get the fuck out of here, man. See, this is that bullshit. I tell you, boy, like you cannot. You can't make this.
But BMT, think about it. Why would a white guy from a middle class family want to kill anyone? There must be something wrong with him.
Well, let me say this though. Up there, there's two types of New York. I mean, there's New York. There's two types. There's New York City, and there's upstate New York. Upstate New York deal with the Catskill miles that they cover, like maybe 7 miles up to Canada. There's nothing but rednecks up there for years. That's why when you hear people say, "Well, go upstate," nah. That's not an ideal place to go to. I know what I'm talking about because I played a tournament up there, and you know they said, "Niggas, you need to go back to New York City where you belong." And the coach said, "All right, get back on the bus," and we go back. And so these people has been in the radar for a very long time, and trust and believe up there it's mostly Republican, conservative Republican, and so ironic they not really talking about it. And even you got some moderate Democrats is up there too, but at the same time they are very, very conveniently quiet. And I'm just saying nice because I respect you and your channel, brother BMT.
No. It's fine. I'm just saying, like, we're watching the shucking and jiving that is going on, and I'm telling y'all right now, but I'm about to hit the 2 hour mark, and we're about to wrap it up. That y'all need to pay attention. Like I said, listen, all these talking points, all this goddamn, we need to fight the system, the government. Y'all, like, listen, all these things right here is a group trying to save their populace. and trying to save their face by any means necessary. By any means necessary.
I
Y'all
mean,
understand?
the definition of white in the United States has changed for a reason. That Hispanic white is now a term. Hispanic white, pretty soon they'll drop the term Hispanic and it'll just be white. Because the way America has evolved, there were the British, there were the Dutch, they were white. The Germans, they were eventually white. Then you had the Irish, not quite white, but then you had the Italians, yeah, they're white, sort of, kind of. Then the last group that became white, Jews, and now, Arabs are white. Arabics are now considered part of the white race. Only ones that are not considered part of the white race, according to our government, are Black people and Asians. But Asians are doing so much better than the average white family. We have to do something about that. So they're limiting their access to college. Let's just call the government what it is. And yes, the Republican Party is doing everything it can to instill this fear. We're the only ones fighting for the white man. We're the only one fighting for you. And there are a lot of truck drivers out there. There are a lot of cashiers out there. I mean, we need them in our society, but the fear of, look at liberal Hollywood, they're turning your kids gay. You won't have any grandkids to take care of you or to play with you. They are creating real fear in these people. And there's also a lot of hatred in the Black community against each other. So what do we do about it? We confront it. We talk about it. We do not allow our race to be benign by a few so-called Black grifters that want to appease white people. All races have bad people in them, all of us. It's just human beings are bad. Look at what happened in Rwanda. Look what's happening in Nigeria. But look what's happening in Ukraine. White people kill white people. Black people kill Black people. But when someone drives 2 to 3 hours and plans this shit for days just because these people were Black, and he's been promoted to do this by hateful talking points so someone can make some money off of other people's fear, that's disgusting. It needs to stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for definitely coming through and supporting our program along with me and attorney the show and the number one grinder. You can always catch him. He's always going over sports, boxing. He's always going over life assessment and skills that y'all can definitely take notice into. We definitely want to give a special shout out to attorney the show for bringing the information, the hardcore facts. It was very uncomfortable, but it was much needed to hear information. And that's the thing about it. We don't say things to make you feel comfortable. We open up the panel. I believe we dropped the link so anybody could have snagged it. Grindr did. We even opened it up that anybody of any race, any class, any background could have come up and had a discussion with me in the show. We agreed to that before we started the show, did we not? In the show, like, hey, anybody want to, y'all can come up and show your talking points. So, other than that, you guys, we'd like to thank y'all for coming through. I'm BMT. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.